Broads Media.
Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome on in to Sports Talk with Broads. Now, full disclosure, I just got done a 3-hour radio show. I drove 45 minutes home. I went right into my studio here in the basement and said, I need to talk more Phil. Swear to God, I had such a pleasant time just talking ball that I needed to continue. I just wanted to do it longer. I'm obsessed. I'm hearing Rob Thompson speak, whether it's to Howard Eskin or to the media, Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber, hearing their voices again. It did something to my emotional heartstrings, and now I'm obsessed. It's a problem. They're on my mind 24/7. I have a child. She needs to eat a lot. I should be feeding her. Instead, I'm thinking of Bryce Harper staring down Arcia. I'm thinking about JT Realmuto catching Ronald Acuna Jr., trying to snag second base. I'm thinking of Zack Wheeler pumping 99 on the outside part of the dish and then following that up with a wicked curveball that is filthy. 12-6. Ew, just drops. Oh, man, I need it. I need it in my life. So let's talk about a few things today. One, they did acquire a big-time bat off their bench in Whit Merrifield. And then there's 2 contract extensions. One was very known. Zack Wheeler. Okay. Bryce Harper, though? In what world? We'll get to that. We'll also get to Matt Klentak. That's right. Matt Klentak's existence will make tonight's program. And not only will he make tonight's program, but we are also going to give him praise. Oh, my God. What? I know. Crazy things. What else is crazy, though, before we really get rocking and activated into the combo? We have more Broads Media content coming your way. Coffee with Broads is back, starting March 28th, which is opening day, by the way. Join the Broads Media membership here on YouTube for $4.99 a month, and you will have access to Coffee with Broads live streams every Monday and Thursday at 11 a.m. It'll be laid back, super chill, and very interactive with the chat. Also, there's a Broads Media Discord channel that is currently active now. It has been a blast over the last 3 days or so, 4 days, kicking it, talking during the Flyers game. It's super fun, and we're going to be communicating live when games are going on, talking about all the action in real time. So nothing is changing with the current pods. This is just an added bonus if you want more in your life. I'm looking forward to starting Coffee with Broads live streams again March 28th, and make sure, if interested, you grab your membership today. The links to everything is down below in the description. I greatly appreciate it. Okay, on to Whit Merrifield. You got yourself your right-handed bat. Nobody liked the options that we had last year. I wasn't as down on Jake Cave as everybody else was. He wasn't the most pleasant in the world. It wasn't the best. And by the way, it's a left-handed bat. I'm just saying, when you think of what was available, it was Rojas, it was Pache, it was Stubbs, it was Cave. Of that grouping, Cave tickled my fancy the most. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going out on a limb here. There's not much talent there. Whit Merrifield is a real pro. He's very versatile defensively, so you can put him in a couple different areas. Second base being the one that's recognizable most. You can slot him into left field, so you can do certain things with your roster, with your DH, try to get some guys off their feet a tad. I'm not going to hit any panic button, though, because Whit Merrifield maybe had some bad splits, meaning he was really good in the beginning of the year, and then by the end, he started to break down. One, he played significantly more time than he will with the Phillies last season. Now, maybe that could come with a negative. Can a pro's pro and a guy who's been so accustomed to seeing live pitching nonstop and playing a ton, for him to be a lesser role and to barely get flirted in there, or maybe not barely, but not as much as normal starters, and that's what he's been, can that get him out of his funk, out of his groove? I'm going to trust the fact that he's been around baseball for a long time, that he can adjust to this new style of Whit Merrifield. This is the next chapter. I'm pretty sure he's aware of that, and I'll at least give him the benefit of the doubt that he's going to try and maximize that role as best as possible. And, if someone like Whit Merrifield can't do it, then why would someone like Rojas or Pache or guys that aren't even able to get real time for X amount of years and make certain all-star games? If those level caliber professionals can't do it, then we're going to expect the lessers of the world to do it. I don't know. It just doesn't add up to me. I'll give him a shot. I'm not going to hit a panic button. There's no role player out there that doesn't come with any sort of questions. I relate this all the time to the NBA with role players. Well, if we can get more consistency from player X off your bench, well, then he'd be a starter. He would legitimately be a starter, and he'd be logging in 30 minutes a night on a respected squad. He's coming off your bench and is a role guy because he has nights where he hits 5 threes and nights where he goes over, and it is pretty much a seesaw on any given day. You just don't know which one you're getting. So same with your bench pieces. I like Whit Merrifield can steal bags too, and you lose a very, very important voice with Rhys Hoskins going to the Milwaukee Brewers. So just from a clubhouse guy, vibes seem to be high. That locker room is close and they love one another. To bring in Merrifield, I think, is perfect. I have one fear, and it's less about Merrifield and just more about the handling of these players. And I know this was under Joe Girardi, but I do maybe have PTSD, or it's the only thing that's stuck in my head. But remember, there was a time where Didi Gregorius should not be playing ball. He should not be logging in that much time at shortstop, but because of his resume, because of who he was, they felt he was entitled to try and give him as much time as humanly possible, and I just thought it was not right. Is it possible that Whit gets some time at second base, which then leads to who? Bryson Stott sitting on your bench, especially if there's a lefty starter, and then it's like, oh, we're doing this again, where they're not allowing Brandon Marsh and Bryson Stott to even see certain pitchers. They can hit lefties. I watched Bryson Stott hit a lefty grand slam, just saying. And there was a report by Alex Coffey, who does a tremendous job covering the Phillies for the Inquirer, discussing how Kevin Long is talking about Bryson Stott maybe being more aggressive on 0-0 counts. And here's my worry about that is I love what Bryson Stott does. He works at bats. And the fact that he can bat super low in your lineup, around 7 or so, that's a grind. You have to get through Schwarber, Turner, Harper, Bohm, Nick, JT. Here's Stott. Now I have to go through Stott, who can work a 10-pitch at bat, who can foul a couple pitches off, who's going to make my pitch count rise. That's batting 7th or so in a lineup. That's dangerous, man. That is a scary thing to think about. But here's a quote from the piece. It's a fine line. Bryson Stott doesn't need to be passive, especially 0-0, 0-0 counts. And a lot of times, when you start pouncing on first pitches, pitchers go, man, you got to be careful with this guy. And here's more to the piece. The key will be finding the time and place to use that aggression. Hitting coach Kevin Long's opinion is, an 0-0 count is that time. Stott swung at the first pitch only 99 times at a 585 at-bats last season. But when he did, he was rewarded hitting 384. When he didn't swing at the first pitch, 259. It's pretty crazy. Pretty damn crazy. I just don't want them to take him out of his comfort zone. He does something so well. He's striving. Kevin Long, though, a lot of people respect him a bunch, and they are willing to move to this city to play in this town because they know they're in great hands with the hitting coach. So I'm going to give him a nice free pass here to prove his worth, and I'll give him that long leash, if you will. I got to give a ton of credit to Dave Dombrowski and what he has built here, because they sent down Jose Alvarado. He returned to be a special weapon. Alec Boehm had to rebrand his entire offense, and now he's even a plus defender in my eyes. I don't know what the actual stats say, but when I watched him earlier in his career, that was unplayable defense. It wasn't even serviceable, but at least he made up for it with his bat, like you saw with Rhys Hoskins. He was a piss-poor defender, but but crush 30 bombs and can knock in 90-plus runs, and he could also walk a ton. He could see a bunch of pitches. There was so much value that you could live with the result. You couldn't live with the results with Alec Bohm because he was slapping it the other way, inside-out swings, poking it to right field, which was disgusting, and then also pretty much having 2-3 errors or one big error, and again, it was so bad. He rebranded his entire game. Brandon Marsh, they targeted him as a possible dude with a great skill set that just needed to work with Kevin Long for a little bit of time. Bada bing, bada boom. Now I trust him against lefties. So the list goes on and on. Even Pache, who was extremely overwhelmed in the early stages, rebounded nicely towards the back end of the year. I have to give them some room here to work with Rojas, who is definitely part of their plan. And what Whit Merrifield provides is sort of that nice insurance where, let's say it doesn't work out, or let's say somebody gets injured, because that definitely will happen over 162. It is a nice, reasonable option, no doubt, especially on the injury front. But even if someone doesn't pan out, or they don't hold their end of the bargain right now, or maybe it's just too soon for Rojas to be what they want him to be, well, Whit Merrifield can absolutely give you that added insurance, and it's almost the perfect signing as a team. He gives you something different. He won't close his eyes, swing out of his shoes, and try and hit a billion bombs. He could put the bat on the ball. They need that. They need to put the bat on the ball at times. All right, I'm not going back to 1942 and starting fights with people about my lineup. No. I want my man Kyle Schwarber up top. He deserves to be up top. The only one that I think I would like and be just as interested in would be Turner, Schwarber, Bohm, Harper. I kind of like that top four. That's a scary top four because I don't know who to trust hitting cleanup if you go with the traditional Kyle Schwarber, Trey Turner, Bryce Harper. It should be Nick Castellanos in theory. I just don't know what version of Costi are we getting. And can we plug him away at that back half of the order, like 6, like 7, like 8, whatever. Put him at that bottom, less pressure. It's not what you anticipated when you signed him, but it clearly worked a little bit of time last season before the playoffs started to unravel and we saw the NLCS and the sliders. I would never throw him a strike ever. If I was a manager and I watched one of my pitchers throw a fastball or throw anything over the heart of the plate, I'd cut him right there on the spot. I'd actually go get the ball. I'd point to the bullpen, even if nobody was even warming up, although I might always keep someone warming up just in case. And it's like, dude, I'm sorry, you can pack your bags and go. Yeah, I understand there's still 4 innings to go, but your ass is gone. Nick doesn't do anything other than swing at pitches 86 feet off the plate, and you threw him something right over the heart of the plate. You got to go. You got to go. Get your ass out of here! That's what I would do if I was the manager. Just saying. Just giving you the facts. All right. Zack Wheeler extension talks. Where do we go from here? Zack Wheeler extension talks. Okay, I think I know where they're going to land-ish. And it might be around 4 years. I had on Anthony Sanfilippo of Crossing Broad, who does a great job covering the Flyers and the Phillies. He double dips there. And, I kind of brought up the whole, would you rather go super short, like 2 years, but then make the AAV rise and it be super, super heavy, but you're not tied to an arm that's hitting mid-30s? Or do you go with the 6-year deal, really push him, extend him, have him pitch until he's 39 or so, and then you can stretch out the AAV? And then maybe towards the back end of his career, he could be slotted in as still a very serviceable 3-starter, but the Andrew Painters of the world deliver that ace role. So, yeah, he moves back from your rotation. He starts to bleed into the 3 position or something like that when he's 37, 38. Look, I can't rule out anything. Justin Verlander has Tommy John at his age, and then he ends up winning a Cy Young. And Zack Wheeler is a dog, and he is that type of killer that I can absolutely see him doing anything. No matter what his age is, I can see Zack Wheeler still shining and finding ways to pitch, even if you have to tweak. All right, because when you're 39, you're not 27 no more. You can't pitch exactly the same. But I trust Zack Wheeler has the ability. I would do either or. I have no issue with it. But anyway, the reason I brought up Anthony Sanfilippo is he said it's probably more along the sweet spot of in the middle. What if you see a 4-year deal and it be around that $30 million per? So what is that? 4 years, $100 $120 million. Okay, yeah. I mean, yeah. Right now, the window is to win a championship. You have Bryce Harper, JT Realmuto, Nick Castellanos, Kyle Schwarber, Trey Turner, Bryson Stott. This is your team. Now is the time to go in. You sign your number one pitcher. I mean, Zack Wheeler is one of the best pitchers in all of baseball right now. I know nationally they won't speak about him like that and give him the praise and all the love he deserves. Sometimes nationally on the broadcast they will, if it's a Fox game randomly throughout. And, I'm not knocking the NBC Sports Philly, by the way. No. They do. I'm talking more along the lines. You go to MLB Network, you go to MLB.com. Zack Wheeler, his name doesn't pop the same way some of these other fantastic pitchers do, and it's a shame because he is so damn lethal, and you get the ability to sign him. I don't care if it's 2 years, I get it. I don't care if it's 6 years, I get it. I don't care if it's 4 years, I get it. Just get it done. Get this guy in here. And I would love Montgomery as well. The longer and longer that he's still around, I know you have to deal with Scott Boras, and I don't know if Scott Boras is just using the media and leverage right now by saying, hey, the Phillies are lurking around, but I don't think he would be because generally speaking, Dave Dombrowski is never going to sleep, and he's always aware. He's always on high alert. Some of these pitchers could fall right on your lap, and he'll wait out the market until it's time to pounce. Remember, the year they signed Kyle Schwarber and Nick Castellanos, what are the odds that you envisioned a year where they got both of them in the same free agency? Absolutely not. You probably anticipated one, and then, all right, well, hold on. Nick is still hanging around. Oh, hold on. What can we do here? And then before you know it, he's rocking the Phillies pinstripes. I can't rule that out. Now, it won't come at a cost of Zack. Zack is the number one priority. So it would either be Zack and Montgomery, for example, if the price goes down, or I doubt it goes down, considering Scott Boras is always going to work this as intense as humanly possible, but maybe it's not as long, and it's like, hey, you'll hit the market again in a couple years, and we'll let this thing really blossom into, like let's say a 2-year deal, and then we get you paid in the next free agency market. I'm just saying. But you know what's interesting, though, about this Zack Wheeler thing? For me, it's just get it done, by the way. I really don't care about the contract. I'm not afraid of an older pitcher anymore. I think with modern medicine and where everything is with the surgeries and all, I'll be okay. I mean, you got to get Zack Wheeler here. Whatever it takes to get Zack Wheeler here is fine within reason. And I say within reason because, yes, I am somewhat foreshadowing into my Bryce Harper contract extension talk. But one last thing on Zack Wheeler, and that is he deserves to be the opening day starter. I don't know how much he cares, and my guess is he doesn't. We already touched on how great of a clubhouse this is, and they are definitely one. They love one another. They're dancing. Oh, I don't even want to. No. Yeah. Dancing on my own should be dead. Dancing on my own should not be in that clubhouse. I don't want even to think about them dancing right now because when I do, it's tied together with that song, and it can't be. We have to turn the page. That is loser energy. I don't want to hear halfway through the season when they start out significantly under 500 that as soon as Kyle Schwarber put that back on his Spotify playlist, the team took off and went on a big winning streak. I will be pissed. I won't accept it. I will accept it. I'd be totally fine with it, actually, but I don't want to hear it, damn it. They're super close in that clubhouse, though. Aaron Nola will probably get the opening day start. Zack Wheeler probably doesn't care that much, and when you keep it as long as Aaron Nola has kept it, it's hard to be in the same organization for that long, being the number one guy. Aaron Nola's been through the grind, the ugly times, the Michael Francos, the Odubel Herreras, the Cesar Hernandezes, the Gabe Kaplers. The list goes on and on disaster mode. And I do believe deep down that Zack Wheeler is like, all right, dude, let Aaron Nola do his thing, but he knows he deserves it, right? I mean, there's no way that Zack Wheeler starts on opening day, right? I couldn't imagine in a billion years. I know it doesn't really matter. It's just sort of a fun little barroom side note to bring up here, which is it's obvious when Zack Wheeler is constantly getting the ball for game one in playoff series, right? Who gets the opening day? And if he gets the second game, does it matter anyway? I don't know. Think about it. You're also starting off the season playing the Atlanta Braves. Last year it was the Rangers. And keep in mind, you had no idea that they were going to end up being the eventual champions. They got swept in that series. I was so angry. It was so damn annoying. You can't start the season off like that. Absolutely not. It's atrocious. If it was a game maybe against an AL opponent, though, game one, it's easier to send Nola out there. It's a series against a team in your own division. If he pitches game 2 instead of game 1, does it really matter? I don't know. Like I said, pretend you got a Miller in your hand and we're just shooting the shit more than anything else. Hey, before we get to this Bryce Harper stuff and Matt Klentak, you heard that correctly, let me tell you about my friends over at HelloFresh. They are giving you free breakfast for life. I'm going to say that one more time. They are giving you free breakfast for life. They say breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and HelloFresh agrees. In fact, they're giving all subscribers free breakfast for life. That means you'll enjoy a totally free breakfast item with every single HelloFresh delivery, and that is worth waking up for. So let's go to HelloFresh.com/BroadsFree right now and use code BroadsFree for free breakfast for life. One breakfast item per box while your subscription is active. That's free breakfast for life at HelloFresh.com/BroadsFree with code BroadsFree. HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit. And by the way, their dinner recipes are to die for. Don't let recipe boredom strike, because HelloFresh has more options than ever before. You could dig into the biggest menu yet with over 45 dinner recipe options to choose from every single week, and even more market add-on items that suit any lifestyle. Don't worry about going to the grocery store. It is all pre-portioned and delivered right to your doorstep. You cannot screw it up, and it tastes outstanding. Make sure you join the HelloFresh family down below. That's where you will find their information. Okay, so Bryce Harper wants a contract extension, and he really does want it, and he sort of planted the seed with it not too long ago and just sprinkled it in through media availability to, I guess, set the foundation. It would be organization malpractice to sign that man through age 45. I'm sorry, but no. What was the talking points when he signed the deal? I want to be in Philly. I like this contract. I'm not putting in opt-outs. Now, I'm not saying you just laugh in his face and kick him out the door. You talk to his Bryce Harper, but I'm not extending you to 45 years old. What are we doing? No. I love Bryce Harper to death. No. Like, I can't even believe we're having this conversation. Let me say it again. No. Those are my thoughts on the Bryce Harper contract extension. No. Let's get to Matt Klentak. You go look at what he did over his tenure. I'm going to throw up making this statement. Throw up. I'm not a Matt Klentak guy. I got pinned as a Matt Klentak guy over the weekend on the airwaves, and I didn't like it. I'm not a Matt Klentak guy. But if we are being honest with ourselves, the good outweighed some of the bad with his roster decisions. He signed Zack Wheeler to one of the best free agent deals I've ever seen. That dude is playing insane baseball. He's so good. I mean, he is so good. Value-wise with that deal, you could make the argument that that's up there in recent time as one of the best contracts per value. Okay? Crazy. The JT Realmuto trade. I didn't want to do it. I was wrong. Matt Klentak was right. Sixto Sanchez was electric to me. I wanted to see that in this organization. Haven't heard the name Sixto Sanchez since 1643. JT Realmuto was Matt Klentak's trade. Ready for this one? Bryson Stott and Alec Boehm were selected by Matt Klentak. Yeah. Now let's get to the bad. Scott Kingery, Jake Arrieta. Now, did anybody think that Jake Arrieta would blow up and be that abysmal? There are some out there saying yes. I don't remember that being the case at the time, but whatever. You know how it is. When something occurs, oh, yeah, I remember saying that 6 months before it happened. Well, I can't go back in a time machine and actually tell, but whatever. If you want to say that, fine. If you thought that Arrieta was a no-brainer, disgusting son, Okay, whatever. I guess you have the right to say you did, even if you didn't. I don't know. Whatever. I don't care. I thought that he was going to bring a nice, different attitude, a different edge, still be able to be a very solid pitcher. I didn't need him to be Cy Young, but I need him to be a solid pitcher, and that blew up in your face. So you put that under the bed. The Kingery thing was a brutal projection, although Scott Kingery back in 2019 hit 19 home runs in the majors for the Phils. Yet I'm begging Alec Boehm at 6'5" 2 seasons ago to give me more than 13 home runs. Make it make sense. Baseball makes no sense at all. At all. Now, we went through the Mickey Moniak experience. Look, I'm with you. I'm just saying, I didn't even expect it to be just the good, like the good. Whoa, there's a lot to the success right now that actually falls on the shoulders of Matt Klentak. It might make you very uncomfortable, and I'm not here to tell you that you should appreciate it, but just weird. That's all. It was sort of a big smack in the face, like, yo, bros, just take a look. I took a look. I don't know what I want to do with that information. It didn't say I have to have a Matt Klentak tattoo on my ass or anything like that. It was just pointed out. So I'm just relaying the message to ruin your night as well. Because now that you hear that, I'm sure there's a lot of uncomfortable feelings gargling around in your stomach. That's what I do here. All right, everybody. Those are my thoughts. I appreciate it. Fun talking ball, man. You know that. You know I love it. Appreciate it. Looking forward to this upcoming week. Talking more. See you on the next one.